Welcome back everybody to the channel. It's me, Alejandro Mendoza, or the Chicano. Either way how you say it, it's all good here. And we're back again for another review as we commence our journey through a new box set. Of course, last week we concluded our journey through Abbas Kiarostami's The Coco Trilogy from the Criterion Collection, and today we're going to be starting our journey through our next box set, Lies and Deceit. 5 films from Claude Chabrol, which is from Au Video. This is our first ever set from Au Video that we're going to be covering on the channel, so I'm really excited because, it's something different, it's something fresh. We're usually doing Criterion here, and we've done one non-boutique box set, so I'm really excited to see what these films have in store for us, especially because I do have a handful of Au titles in my collection. Of course, if you enjoy content like this and content about physical media, make sure you go ahead and leave a like on this video and you subscribe to this channel so you don't miss a single piece of content that comes to the channel. And of course, if you want to lend an extra helping hand, then you go visit my Patreon at patreon.com/thenerdchicano and check it out for some exclusives like video essays and some early access to videos just like this one. But enough of that, let's go ahead and get into the video. Today we're going to commence our journey through Lies and Deceit by talking about the first film in this set, Au Vin, or as it is pronounced in French, Poulet à Vinaigre. I hope I said that correctly, but I probably did not. So, of course, this is the first film, so that means we have to look at the packaging. So let's go ahead and do that first here. So this is the front of the set. It's pretty cool artwork there. This is the back of the set with the J card. And then, of course, this is the back without the J card. I'm starting to keep these J cards because I like how they look. And also, I love that it has the info in the back. So, I know I didn't keep it for the Dune one, but I'm going to go ahead and be keeping it for this box set here. And, of course, this is the spine right there. And then you have your booklet and the 5 films in this set. So, let's go ahead and pull these out. And of course, I want to give a shout out to my big bro, my brother. Thank you so much. He's the reason I have this. He bought this for me and then I paid him back for it. But yeah, I was scared that I would not get to enough content in this month because of, I had no funds, and then I had, the Criterion sale was too far, and we ended up pretty much timing it correctly, where I was able to get another set during the Criterion sale, and I was able to have this one to talk about post-Criterion sale. So, of course, it ended up working out pretty well. So let's go ahead and look first at this booklet right here. So this is a really nice booklet, really nice material done here. And then this is the back of that booklet. Nothing too crazy, but you have some, information about the films. You have essays. So yeah, you have some really interesting stuff here, and you have some really interesting art. And there's just a lot of stuff in here, but information about all 5 films and all these production notes and transfer notes, and just really cool stuff, y'all. And yeah, pretty cool booklet. So you have 5 different casings here for the 5 different films that are included. So of course our first one is Au Vin, and then of course you have Inspector Lavardin, which will be the one for next week. And then the week after that, we will be talking about Madame Bovary. Then you have Betty and Torment. Each of these films are on Blu-ray discs, so I'm really excited to get through them. But yeah, that's basically the packaging for these films. And yeah, that is the Lies and Deceit set from Au Video. Now, of course, before we get into our film, we should do a nice little introduction here. So I'm going to read from the casing from this one right here for Au Vin. A small town in rural France, quiet, charming, deadly, Claude Chabrol lifts the lid and stirs the pot of provincial life, serving it up with acidic wit and an unflinching eye for detail in Au Vin, Poulet à Vinaigre. Put upon young man Louis Cano, played by Lucas Belvaux, lives in a large tumble-down house with his disabled mother, Stephanie Aldran, constantly harassed by a corrupt syndicate of local developers who want to buy the property. A postman by day, Louis and his mother steam open letters to stay one step ahead, while by night he spies on their enemies. The lawyer Lavoisier, played by Michel Bouquet, the doctor Morassu, played by Jean Topin, and the butcher Filiot, Jean-Claude Bouillard. When a vengeful prank leaves the butcher dead on the slab, Detective Inspector Lavardin arrives to investigate and find things considerably more complex than they seem. Where is the doctor's wife Delphine? Where is the lawyer's mistress Anna? So, why is the lawyer's mistress Anna Caroline Sellier so worried? And how will the postmistress Henriette, played by Pauline Lafont, ever get Louis into her bed? Chabrol uses the French policier to forensically examine his characters and the communities in which they live. In a cast of superlative French character actors, Jean Pierre would prove so compelling as the laconic Detective Inspector Lavardin, good cop / bad cop all in one, that the sequel would be named after him. Included in the special editions are a high-definition Blu-ray in 1080p presentation, original lossless French PCM mono audio, optional English subtitles, a brand new commentary by film critic Ben Sachs, a brand new interview with film historian Ian Christie, Claude Chabrol at the BFI. Chabrol discusses his career with film historian Ian Christie in this hour-long archival interview conducted on stage at the National Film Theatre in 1994. Claude Chabrol, Jean Pierre, and Stéphane Aldran in conversation, an archival Swiss TV episode in which the director and the cast discusses Cup Au Vin. Archive introduction by film scholar Joël Magny, select scene commentaries by Claude Chabrol, and theatrical trailer and an image gallery. So before this set, I have never heard of the director Claude Chabrol. I had never seen his films. I've taken French cinema before when I was in undergrad, and he was never brought up. I mean, we talked about Eric Romer, I talked about Jean-Luc Godard, we talked about Agnès Varda, but we never really discussed Claude Chabrol, and he never was brought up. So when I found out that he was one of the leading voices in the Nouvelle Vague, the French New Wave, I was surprised, and it made me interested in wanting to pick this set up. I know that this is the first set in there, and there's another one called Twisting the Knife that has 5 other films from him. So I'm really excited to see if I really like this set. I might want to go pick that one up as well. So when it came to watching this film for the first time, I was pleasantly surprised at how much I enjoyed it. The film very much has like a Hitchcockian kind of sense to it, but in a way it's kind of the anti-Hitchcock, where, you know, it's Hitchcock's male characters are usually very suave, very notable male counterparts, but in this film, our male protagonist is very silent. He's not suave. He's kind of controlled by his mother in a way like our character in Psycho, but it's not anywhere to that extent. But even then, I really enjoyed the whole aspect of this movie, the whole investigation part, the dynamic between the mother and the son, and then of course the son and his eventual girlfriend. And I found all of that to be really interesting, and it kept me entertained. It does have a bit of a rough start, and it does take some time to pick up, but once you're really in there, you're in there, and it's really good stuff. I found the comedy to actually work really well. I really like especially the scene within the breakfast place when he's talking about his eggs, and you know, about how he's always had eggs every day of his life since he was a child. And I really liked all those parts. I really did gravitate towards the character of Inspector Lavardin, and just how he really does represent the idea of the good cop and the bad cop mixed into one person. So I found that to be very compelling. Um, the cinematography is fantastic. It's nothing amazing like Jean-Luc Godard or Agnès Varda, but it is very simple and effective, and it does exactly the job that it needs to do for the story that we have in this film. So I really enjoyed it. I can't say that it was anything amazing, but I did find something to gravitate towards, and I had fun with it. It was really interesting, and ultimately, for the first film that I see from Claude Chabrol, I can't say that I'm disappointed because I really did enjoy it. Now, let's talk about the restoration. So, I watched this film on my TCL 4K TV, on my Panasonic 4K player, on my TCL 4K TV. So I benefited from some upscaling. Of course, this is just a digital restoration. There are some 4K restorations in here, but these two films, Au Vin and Inspector Lavardin, are not 4K restorations. But needless to say, I benefited from some upscaling within this video resolution. So I've got to say that I was really impressed with the work done by MK2 on this restoration. I loved initially I really liked the film stock that was used. So when I get to see this grading and restoration on my screen, I was really surprised at how good everything looked. I love the richness of the green, the blues, and the red colors, and I gravitated towards that part of the video restoration. I really think that they did a great job at highlighting that. They brought out a really interesting shadows and contrast as well, because you want to kind of get that rough look for a noir like this, if you can even classify it as a noir. But it kind of has to get a little rough in there, so I think bringing that out in the regrading and in the resolution and the restoration of this film, they did a great job at that. Of course, it is a little rough around the edges, but I'm going to go ahead and think that that's because of the film stock that was used. But even then, that gives it a bit of that edge to it that you don't find within films like Hitchcock's thrillers and detective stories. Whereas in this one, it really is kind of playing to its strengths of having that dirty look and of being very rough. So I think that the video restoration really brought out all of those characteristics out of this restoration. The audio is fantastic as well. I can't say that I have any complaints there. Through my ears, I was able to enjoy the audio. Of course, like I've always said, I don't have a surround sound system, so I was able to just dissect and just consume this audio track through my TV speakers. And then, even then, I thought that it was fine. I didn't think it was anything bad. Everything felt balanced, and it pretty much amplified what was going on screen, and it matched well with its video restoration. So the audio restoration is nothing terrible. It's good, and I'm really excited to see how these restorations are going to look once we get into those 4K restorations. But in the meantime, where we start is not bad at all, and I've got to say that I was not expecting to like this movie as much as I did, but for our first film in this Lies and Deceit set from Arrow, I've got to say that I'm very satisfied, and I'm excited to continue on with the journey, and I hope you all are too. To keep up to date with all the things I do on social media, make sure you follow me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, Letterboxd, and Serialized at The Nerd Chicano. I'm the same handle on all of them, so it's pretty easy to find me. Keep up to date with all the things that we do on the Nerdcore by visiting us at the Nerdcore on Twitter, on YouTube, on Twitch, and our website, thenerdcore.com, to keep up to date with all those one-stop shops where you can find interviews, where you can find articles, and podcasts that we make. Next week, we're going to go ahead and continue on with this set as we look at the sequel to Au Vin, Inspector Lavardin. But without further ado, I hope you all enjoyed this one. Let me know if you have this set from Arrow Video. Let me know if you like Au Vin. Do you know more about Claude Chabrol? Do you recommend any other films? But let's just talk in the comments and leave some info for me that would be useful as I go through these films that I'm watching for the first time. But without further ado, to my wonderful scholars and renowned cinephiles, celebrate the love of cinema today, tomorrow, and every day after. Catch you all in the next one, guys. Bye bye.